everyone. I am drained. I am super exhausted with everything that's going on. It's been like, what, 17 days with this new administration, and things are not looking good for the less represented and marginalized groups of people. My platform originally was not about politics. Politics are not my expertise. I have a limited knowledge in politics. So I try to dig for the information, find journalists and newscasters and everybody who knows politics to bring you the correct information. I do not like misinformation. I do not like when people lie about things that can hurt other people. And the fact that I have to live on a rock with people who are uneducated and refuse to be educated on the subject because they hate people who look like me. It's just my cross to bear, I guess. And people who are in my situation who feel the same way. I have advocated every election. I say go vote. I get pushback. Why should I vote? Because a no vote is a vote for someone you don't want to win. And you, along with the people who vote for the people who don't belong in high places, are the reason why we go through this. And all you can say, the people who don't vote, I told you that, I told you. Yeah, because you didn't vote. That's why your vote counted. But since you didn't vote, it counted toward the winning party. And you're not educated enough to understand that, and I get it. And this is not to shame anybody, and this is not to make anybody feel bad about themselves. This is just the truth. So I think I'm going to step back from social media, especially from politics, and I am going to just use my platform for what it is. I hate the spread of misinformation, and I just like to educate people when it comes to things like this because it can hurt, and as we all see, it is hurting all of us. We have our Rocky Raccoons who want proximity so bad that they're not just misogynistic, they're misogynoir. I think that's how you pronounce it. I can't pronounce that word. Misogynoir. And that's just mean they hate melanated women, specifically African American Black women. Now, every other woman they like, they just hate their own. And what that makes is the women who looks like me, the women who are rooting for the men who looks like me, back away, all the way away. My platform was about Christianity and teaching people what the Christian religion is about and helping people understand. But it has married into this political administration that we have. So that's what I want to talk about today before I decide to just take a step back from social media altogether. So when it comes to this administration and it comes to my platform and it married into Christianity, I just want to say that there's no such thing as separation of church and state anymore. And the reason for my platform is to bring awareness to the fact our laws are based on the Christian theology. There's a lot of people who profess to be Christians and believers in God and don't even go to church, don't even read the Bible, don't even know where Christianity comes from. It's a Roman concept. Don't even know that they're Judeo-Christians, especially if you take the whole Bible into consideration. They don't even know that Christianity sprang from Judaism. They don't even know where it started and why it started in the first place. And because of that little miseducation, it sets you back. So based on Christian theology and our current administration that we have now, those two have married each other. There's no longer a separation of church and state. So in my studies, in my research, these are some of the things that I have found, especially when it comes to Roe versus Wade. Can I talk? Wade. And the DEI removal. Christian theology, particularly in its more consecutive interpretations, often emphasizes moral absolutes, traditional family structures, and a divinely ordained order of society. Some of the policies and legal decisions under Trump's administration, as well as those influenced by the conservative leaning Supreme Court, align with the theological perspectives. And here are some. The reason for this video is because Trump is trying to persecute people, especially people who work for the federal government for, well, for going against Christianity. So under this administration, either all of these things have been removed or have been positioned and have an executive order to be removed. The first one is overturning of Roe v. Wade and the Christian theology. Many Christian traditions, especially evangelical and Catholic, oppose abortion based on the belief that life begins at conception and the taking of a life is a violation of God's commandments. Wait, in Numbers chapter 5, God tells a priest it's okay for you to mix up some elixir and give to a woman so she can abort her baby. Anyways, attacks on DEI, Christian theology. More conservative Christian groups often reject identity-based policies, arguing that equality should be based on merit rather than race, gender, or sexual orientation. DEI is because these groups have been marginalized by the majority of Christians. Groups based on identity, sexual orientation, and skin color have been marginalized greatly. So that's why DEI was put in place in 1972. I was not here. I was not here. Strengthening religious freedom laws. Many Christians believe religious freedom is essential to practicing faith without government interference. However, the Trump administration championed religious freedom, including policies allowing businesses to deny services to same sex couples based on religious beliefs. This aligns with the Christian teachings that prioritize conscience over government mandates. Number 4, nationalism and Christian America ideology. Christian theology. Some interpretations of Christianity promote the idea that it should uphold biblical values in law and governance. Trump era influence. Trump's rhetoric often appealed to Christian nationalists who believe America should return to its Judeo-Christian roots. His administration pushed policies favoring traditional values and opposed progressive social movements. 5, opposition to LGBTQ plus rights expansion. Christian theology. Many conservative Christian denominations uphold traditional gender roles and oppose same-sex marriage and transgender rights. Trump era influence. While Trump himself was somewhat neutral on LGBTQ plus rights, his administration reversed Obama era protections for transgender individuals, including banning them from military service and rolling back Title IX protections. I will get more into what Title IX protections are later. Number 6, law and order. Can I talk? Law and order policies and theocratic influence. Christian theology. Many Christian teachers emphasize obedience to authority, seeing rulers as ordained by God. Romans 13, 1 through 2. Trump era influence. His strong stance on law and order, including the use of federal force against protesters, resonated with Christians who believe in upholding societal order as a moral responsibility. So these are just 6. There's so many that have been signed into law in these past 17 days or 18 days, not counting. Title IX protections. Title IX is a federal civil rights law passed as part of the Education Amendments of 1972. Again, I was not here. It prohibits sex-based discriminations in any education program or activity receiving federal funding. While it was initially focused on ensuring equal opportunities for women in education and sports, its scope has expanded over time. Key protections under Title IX. Schools must provide equal opportunities for male and female students in athletics and academics. Schools must have policies to address sexual harassment, assault, and misconduct. Under the Obama administration, Title IX was interpreted to protect transgender and non-binary students from discrimination. Schools cannot discriminate against pregnant students and must provide accommodations for them. Schools must provide a fair process for both accusers and accused in cases of sexual misconduct. Trump era changes to Title IX under Betsy DeVos, Trump's Secretary of Education. Title IX protections were scaled back, particularly in how schools handle sexual misconduct. Scaled back. Also, under Trump's administration, raised the standard for proven sexual harassment, making it harder for victims to win cases, reduced school liability, meaning institutions were only responsible for incidents they had actual knowledge of, strengthening due process rights for the accused, requiring live hearings and cross examinations. Biden era revisions. The Biden administration worked to restore and expand Title IX protections, including reaffirming protections for LGBTQ plus students, lowering the standard for defining sexual harassment back to the Obama era guidelines. Now, under this current administration in 2025, they're scaling all of that back, those Title IX protections. Trump's policies and Supreme Court appointments significantly aligned with conservative Christian values, leading to legal changes that reflect a traditionalist theological perspective. While not all Christians and believers agree with these policies, the overlap between Trump's governance and Christian conservatism is evident in areas such as abortion, DEI, religious freedom, and social issues. And this is why I do what I do. So the Trump administration has removed all of those Title IX protections. Those protections are out. Discrimination can begin on any level. And that's because you voted for that. You like that. But again, this is why I'm here. All of this in the guise of Christianity and to go back to the traditional Christian values. And I'm going to let Jesus tell you that none of you motherfuckers are Christians. Even your orange daddy didn't even give you one verse, not even Jesus, the shortest verse in the Bible. He couldn't even give y'all that. So for anyone who's saying that they're Christians and believers in a Christian God of the Bible, later Jesus appeared to the 11 themselves as they were sitting at the table. He scolded them for their lack of faith and stubbornness because they had not believed those who saw him after he had risen. And he said to the 11, go into all the world and proclaim the good news to the whole creation. He did not say that to you or to me or to anyone alive today. He said that to the 11. Then he goes on in 16. The one who believes and is baptized will be saved. You have to believe the good news. We'll come back to the good news later. And is baptized will be saved. But the one who does not believe the good news, will be condemned. And let me tell you that your Jesus gave the instructions on whether or not you are a believer. He said this, Mark chapter 16, verse 17. And these signs will accompany those who believe. By using my name, they will cast out demons. They will speak in new tongues. New tongues does not mean things that you hear being spoken today. New tongues means a different language. If you don't believe me, fact check me. They will pick up snakes, and if they drink any deadly thing, it will not hurt them. They will lay hands on the sick, and they will recover. Every Christian and every believer in the sound of my voice, show me your score. Show me that you've done these things. Because according to your Jesus, that's the only way that you are a believer. That is the only thing that denotes you as a Christian. And if you have not done any of those things, you are not a Christian. You are not a believer. And those blessings that you're attributing to this God is not from this God.